Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? I'm going to tell you today about September of 1970. I have things grouped together because there were a lot of things that happened according to subject matter, as opposed to telling you day by day the different things that occurred. I hope that you'll understand what I'm talking about as I begin. There was quite a bit of terrorism, honestly, going on in the 1970s. And I'm going to start with September 6th. The Palestinians seized 3 airliners and brought them, I believe, to Dawson's Field, a remote airstrip in Zarqa, Jordan. And then on September 7, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO from here on out, hijacked 4 planes. Also, on that same day, it's important to note that there was fighting going on between Arabic guerrillas and government forces in Amman, Jordan, the same area of our world. On September 8th, hijacking and subsequent destruction of 3 airliners to Jordan by the Palestinians once again. These events would later become known as Black September. On September 11, 1970, 88 hostages from Dawson's Field, you'll remember the first thing that we talked about on September 6th, were released. The remaining hostages, who were mostly Jews and Israeli citizens, were held until September 25th of that year. On September 12th, the Palestinian terrorists blew up 3 hijacked airlines in Jordan, continuing to hold the passengers in various undisclosed locations in Amman. Then on September 13, Palestinian guerrillas conquered Arbid, Jordania. On the 15th, the PLO leader Arafat threatened to make a cemetery of Jordan. On September 16th, King Hussein of Jordan formed military government and ordered forcible expulsion of the PLO. On the 17th, Jordan launched offensive attacks against the guerrilla army. So you can see clearly the Palestinians were wreaking havoc in Jordan, giving King Hussein a run for his money. I talked to my husband about why we don't hear about hijacking anymore, and his simple explanation was simply the terrorists have moved on to much more sophisticated means of terror than they used 45 years ago. In the weather, back in September of 1970, on September 4th, Workman's Creek, Arizona received 29 centimeters of rainfall, which was a state record for them. On September 5th, in Bug Point, Utah, 15 centimeters, 6 inches, of rain fell, a state record for Utah. And then on September 26th, the Laguna Fire started in San Diego County, California, burning 175,426 acres. Now moving on, I'm going to talk about events that happened surrounding the Soviet Luna 16. On the 12th of September, Luna 16 launched, headed for the moon to return with samples of the moon. Sorry. On September 20, Luna 16 landed on the moon's Mare Fecunditatis and drilled core sample. On the 21st of September, the Luna left the moon. Then, on September 24, the first automated return of lunar sample was accomplished by Luna 16. The Soviet Luna 16 lands back on the Earth after one unmanned round trip to the moon. In other current events, on September 17, Russian ballerina Natalia Makatova gets political asylum from Great Britain. On September 18, Salvador Allende, an avowed Marxist, wins presidential election in Chile. The United States worked feverishly to derail his selection in this election, but later in October of 1970, his election was upheld. On September 19, the Irish Republican Army member Michael Caine, from here on out we'll refer to it as the IRA, a 35-year-old, was killed in a premature explosion of a bomb that he himself was planting at an electricity transformer in Belfast, Ireland. On September 26, a group of Protestant youth attacked the Catholic Unity Flats as rioting continued in the Protestant Shankill Road. On September 30, a Protestant man was shot and killed by loyalists in Belfast, North Ireland. On September 31st, the USSR performed nuclear testing at Eastern Kazakh Semipalatinsk, USSR. I apologize if my pronunciation falls quite flat. On September 12th, the first supersonic Concorde landed at Heathrow Airport. Then on September 28, Anwar Sadat replaced the Egyptian President Nasser, who had passed away. On September 5th, Donnell Boyles set record for the highest parachute jump from a bridge, leaping off the 1,056-foot Royal Gorge Bridge in Colorado. To compare, in 2014 in Roswell, New Mexico, Alan Eustace jumped off a bridge that was at the height of 135,890 feet. On September 13, the first New York City Marathon was won by Gary Merck. He ran the marathon in 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 38 seconds. To compare, today, actually in October of 2014, a man named Dennis Cometo set a world record in the New York Marathon. I apologize, that was actually the Berlin Marathon, for 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 57 seconds. On September 9th, Bowie Kukin suspended Denny McLean for carrying a gun. On September 22, 1970, my birthday, President Nixon requested 1,000 new FBI agents for college campuses. This was to deal with campus outbreaks as well as aerial hijackings. On September 11, the Ford Pinto was introduced. This was kind of interesting to me because this spring my husband and I took a trip to North Carolina for our anniversary, and on the road trip home we were driving for several hours through the countryside, and we came around a bend, and there on the hill was a rusty old Pinto with graffiti written on it, and it just kind of brought us back some time. On September 23, IBM announced the first computer system. Then on September 24, the New York Times started the first modern OPED page, opinion page. September 30, the New American Bible was published. September 31st, Phyllis Ann George of Texas, age 21, was crowned the 43rd Miss America of 1971. WSWP Channel 9 TV in Grandview, West Virginia, PBS, began broadcasting on September 15. On September 19, the Mary Tyler Moore Show premiered. On September 21, Monday Night Football premiered on ABC, the Browns winning 31 to the Jets 21. And then also on September 21, ABC, KAPP TV, Channel 35 in Yakima, Washington, began broadcasting. Thank you.